can see that. But there's the moon, and just right here, under the moon is a bright light, which I'm going to assume is, or guess, is Mercury. Anyway, that's due east. All right, that's due east, and we are going to head northeast, north, east, north. I guess that's how that's said. And we're going to get out on into it. Started early today, and the reason for that is I've decided I've got to go more hardcore about this exercise. Yesterday I tipped the scale at 107.9 kilo, which is great, considering everything. I'm very, very happy about that. However, I hear these guys, they've been out all night drinking, having a good time. That's cool. However, I was able to tip the scales at 107.9, which is always great. Arun Sawat. Hello. Sunok Sanana. Anything under 108 right at this moment, not today because I expect to be under 108 by a good margin, but I feel the progress being made, and I really want to jump. I really want to jump on it. I don't want to let it go. I want to make sure that my exercise is what I can do. I mean, these Arun Swat Yai. I got bodysuit. My horn. My horn. So I want to, take care of this exercise, and do it because, I was doing like 50, 55 minutes or an hour of walking, and I know I can do a lot more, but I felt at the time that I was doing it, oh, this is a really good start. And it was a good start, but now I've decided to push it up. We've got to take it up a notch, more than a notch. We've got to take it up to a significant amount. So yesterday I added on half a kilo to the walk, right? But that only lasted like 5 minutes or 6 minutes or something like that. So normally the walk is about 7 kilos. That was 7.5 yesterday. I want to make it. I don't want to shoot too high, like over stress my expectations or anything like that. But I'm looking to do 9 kilo today. So that's why I came out a little bit earlier today and decided that, let's really hammer in. Arun Swatlung. Somebody. I want to hammer in on hello, Azzy, or Azzy. That's not really the same thing, but good morning to you. It is Tuesday morning, the 19th in the year 2025, or the Buddhist calendar 2568. Anyway, it's a beautiful morning. The air is nice and crisp, and it's definitely not hot. And it's not cold either, so it's like the perfect temperature. So I wanted to get on this exercise that I have promised myself to make my goal complete. Carillo Penley, hello, how are you? How's everything? Hope you are doing well. And wherever you are on this planet, whether it be on the opposite side of the planet or somewhere near. God bless you, and I hope that you're having a most pleasant morning, afternoon, or night. So, here's the interesting thing about actually walking at this time. Normally, I don't come out this early, but I'm seeing a lot more people walking and exercising at this time, which makes me think that I was Arun Sawapi, which makes me think that I was actually the late riser now. Maybe I was the late riser. I got to get in on the walkers club, make sure I'm there. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I intend to be. I intend to be go after that goal. I'm hoping to see 107, minimum 107.5 today in the kilo department. That's the minimum I can see. I will feel disappointed if I'm not less than 107. But, all right, ciao, Carillo. Have a very nice day. And thank you for stopping by. And I was just mentioning that, with all you guys and gals stopping by, it really gives me motivation to continue to do these walks, which are, in a world you may not ever see, and it's definitely a world that most people who don't live over here ever see, because it's not a tourist area or anything like that. It's farmland, and it's just regular people doing regular things, except they've been, they're not from where, we're from another part of the world. You know what I mean? Carrillo says, have a good day, and I hope you blow up and go viral and super famous. Bye-bye now. Well, I appreciate that. And, blowing up and going viral would be, I think that would be nice. I certainly, I'm not looking to reject that at all whatsoever. But I have different, I would like to say that I have different kind of goals than just blowing up and being famous. I don't really want to be famous. I was famous at one time, like in my circle in New York City back in the late 80s and 90s. I was famous, and I was in the music business, and I was in the gambling business, and I was in the drug business, and I was all these types of things, and young and everything like that. And I was famous, and it was like, I don't really want to be famous. Fame isn't something that I'm after. Enough money to pay my bills, I'm after that for sure. And that's definitely part of the work that I'm trying to put in. But if I were ever to blow up and get famous and make a lot of money, my wife and I have talked about this for the last 25 years. And that is, all we're going to do is, if we get a bunch of money, we're not looking to buy any Lamborghinis or even like a Mitsubishi or whatever. All we do is just for the animals, trying to like take. It's not all we care about, but like that's a major factor in our lives is animal care, and you can't really put a price on that, But that being said, everything's open to interpretation, and everything's open to whatever. So So basically, what I'm saying is like I wouldn't even feel like a better person or anything like that if I was flying around in a private jet or anything like that. I don't. That's not. That wouldn't make me feel like a better person. That would just make me feel like I was momentarily sitting in a highly, an expensive, luxurious jet for the moment. But you don't you don't take that jet inside your body, inside your mind, and it doesn't become who you are or anything like that. People might look at you and envy, but I don't think that. I mean, I think it would take a special kind of character, of person, to want to be looked at in envy. Like they have that old saying, like, success is the best revenge and stuff like that. But I don't have those kind of feelings. I don't have feelings like I want revenge on anybody. But that's different than saying I want justice, or what is my, and so then you have so it kind of gets like into a kind of it gets a little more complicated. It's not all that complicated, but people just have to talk about it. So like revenge, I'm not out for revenge for anything, and I certainly hope nobody's out for revenge against me for my trespasses against them, whatever they may be, known or unknown to me. You know what I mean? So, I just like that kind of, I like to talk about it because I think it's important. I think the state of affairs in the world these days is, quite tenuous. It's like things are up in the air, and things aren't clearly defined, So, Scott 74, good morning. How is Canada? Is it cold over there, or is it not? Always good to see you, brother. We are here hitting it a little early because we've decided to, step up our game a little bit. All good. Still summer for about a month or another month. Thank you, appreciate you as well. So, Canada's a big place, so lots and lots of territory. So the idea today was to talk about movies, because we started talking about movies yesterday, like The Deer Hunter and Casualties of War. And I was I'll just continue with the Casualties of War thing, and then I was talking about yesterday about, like, I did rice farming with my wife for over 10 years. We have, rice land and stuff like that. And all I wanted to say was sometimes I would sit out there, as I was, back those days I was drinking rice whiskey and stuff like that. But I'd sit there and just like fantasize and stuff like that. And you just gotta feel sorry. You feel sorry for everybody who's involved in that Vietnam conflict. But any of those soldiers that were walking across the fucking rice paddy were just sitting ducks, because rice only grows about knee high. I don't know what you're gonna do, how you're gonna hide or whatever. And also, you don't look like the local people, and you're an invader, and in their minds, they have every right to defend their land and kill you. So I did not envy those people, those American soldiers, one bit. I have, massive respect for them, or anybody who's, been forced to go to war. And I'm going to be very clear when I say when they have been forced to go to war, because most of those people, 99% of them, were forced to go to a war they didn't want to go to. But they answered the call and they did what they had to do. And I know Canada has the same thing. Had the same thing in different wars, like World War II, World War One. I don't know what other conflicts other than the War of 1812 that Canada had. And that was against the United States, right? Oh, man. Anyway, I think. I might be wrong. Anyway, so I was thinking about that. So I was trying to think about, like, what are other good movies, there are out there. So that led me to think that if Scott74 came into the chat again today, I wanted to ask you, what is your all-time favorite movie? Like, what movie would you say is like your movie? The movie that you know what I mean? Oh, that's fantastic you say that. E.T., I watched it with my mom. Now it would be Shawshank Redemption. Oh, yeah, obviously, Shawshank Redemption does. Obviously, classic. So, I was thinking about E.T. yesterday. This is no joke. I was thinking about E.T. yesterday. I remember seeing it in the movie theaters. I guess that came out around 1982, if I had to guess. Around there. And so I was thinking about, like, watching that movie Casualties of War. And I was really, that really tore me up a bit, a lot of it. And I did watch E.T. when I was 12 years old, and I kind of sobbed, had a couple of tears when E.T. died. He said, "Elliot, phone home," or something like that, And I was, choked up a little bit about that. But that wasn't the same thing. But I'll tell you this: I know grown men who it's like 22, 25 years older than me, right? Who went and saw E.T. And when they saw E.T., they had a roll of paper tissues just wiping those tears away. I was not. E.T. was. Yeah, that was all cool and stuff like that. And that was like really preparing us for what we have today. Remember when E.T. took like that spell thing or whatever, and then like the satellite cup, and he like rigged this device that could communicate with his other aliens and stuff like that. You remember that part? Yeah, the contraption. I mean, in today's terms, if we looked at that today, I don't think you could find anybody over the age of 10, maybe, or 12, who would believe that contraption could possibly work. It was like the spell checker thing, like that red thing that had like to check your spelling. Arun Sawat. It had like the spell checker. I mean, none of those things could have transmitted diddly squat. At least I don't think so. Maybe they could. Anyway, yeah, that was ET was kind of nice. It's kind of but that's not my favorite movie of all time. That's for sure. And Shawshank Redemption isn't my favorite movie of all time either, although it is up there for sure, 100%. I'd have to say, for me, like, as a young man growing up in Brooklyn, my favorite movie of all time for a long time was Once Upon a Time in America. And I had like special connections to it too, because number one, I went to school with Jennifer Connelly. I knew her, like we almost dated at one time, and they were filming that movie when in 1984 when we were in middle school together. And she would like take time off and go over there, and yeah, so I remember that. But the thing is that I was also not a very good kid. Like I look back. Here's the funny thing is that like I didn't know I wasn't a good kid. I thought I was a good kid. I really thought I was a good kid. I mean, I didn't go out and beat people up or bully people or anything like that. But Arun Sawat, I didn't do anything like that. But I would cut class. I was, drink alcohol, beer, I would chase women. Cody Galford, what's going on, brother? How you doing? Good morning. It's nice to see you on this Tuesday morning, the 19th, in Thailand, northern Thailand. And the time right now is... What is the time right now? I thought it normally is on my screen. And it is 5:49 a.m. So, 5:49 a.m. on a Tuesday morning... Tuesday, the 19th of August in the year 2568 in the Buddhist calendar. And if you're looking at the Gregorian calendar, that's 2025. So nice to meet you. Yes, sir. So Once Upon a Time in America, that was like one of my favorite movies, because I actually had fantasies of back then I had fantasies like I would be like the kingpin of the Brooklyn waterfront and stuff like that. But the thing is that I didn't factor in. Galfon, I didn't see you. I didn't see your chat in the last stream. I'm sorry. But I'm definitely not going to forget it now. It'll be embedded in my brain forever now. So it is really good to see you again. And we were really blessed to be on this morning walk. The sun is starting to make its way over the horizon, and it's going to be a beautiful day. So, yeah, so that was the thing. I thought I was a good kid, but I was dropping out of school. I was getting fist fights with other kids sometimes, not like bullying type of thing, but finding other kids who also felt like they were bad or whatever. And, and it sounds like such an innocuous thing, but I know from experience, it is not an innocuous thing. when you see kids who are like 14 years old, even 12 years old or something like that, this is like the highly impressionable years of their lives. And I believe that society, like in general, has or should try to find a way for like mentorship and stuff like that, because a lot of people, including myself, came from families without a father figure. Okay, so in your world it's 6 p.m., which would make you on the East Coast of the United States, right? I'm not sure if it would be because I sometimes it's like a 12-hour difference on the East Coast from here to the East Coast of the United States, and sometimes it's an 11-hour difference. So you could be further east, but I'm just gonna guess you're on the East Coast of the United States if it's 6 p.m. because I haven't heard anything otherwise. Anyway, so that became like my favorite movie. Once Upon a Time in America was my favorite movie for a long time. But I will say, hands down, my favorite movie ever. And it's like, I feel kind of strange saying it, but my favorite movie ever, and the movie that I feel like it changed the way I saw the world. And if you can guess by the way I'm phrasing this, you may even be able to guess the title of that movie without me saying it. But it changed I walked out of that movie theater and my whole perception of reality was changed. And I realized at that moment, like some piece of my mind had been opened up. And that movie was, let's get a drum roll here in case anybody wants to type it in real quick, what they think it is. The Matrix. The Matrix #1. Oh boy, I think I was like 26 years old or something like that when that came out. When I saw The Matrix, to believe it or not, I thought that was a documentary. I mean, my whole world, everything changed from the moment I watched that movie, finished watching that movie, and I walked out of the movie theater. My whole life changed immensely, and I saw things totally differently. Okay, so how you doing, Miguel? We are in northern Thailand, in the province of Palau, and so basically we are in the northeast part of Thailand, in between the two major cities in the north, one is Chiang Mai and the other one is Chiang Rai. Chiang Rai is quite a bit smaller. But anyway, that's where we are. We're up here in Thailand, farmland. Like I was saying earlier, I don't do it anymore, but we used to do rice farming. Problem with rice farming is that the land that you use to farm rice is so much more valuable than any harvest you will ever. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Cool. You're living in Hangdong. All right. I know that is. I've been there before. Very cool place. Lots going on and stuff like that. So basically, I'm facing south. If I turn this way, right around that way over those mountains, if we drive over those mountains, we would get to Chiang Mai. Well, fantastic. I truly say say that I hope that you're successful in your tropical resort there and everything like that. I've been living in Thailand for over 25 years, and all I can say is I know the business you're in is not an easy business. Not easy at all. My wife and I had a bed and breakfast at one time. I mean, I just decided there's got to be other ways to occupy my time or try to make money. Because trying to make money with the guest house, stuff like that, is like, you could just forget about it. You know, I mean, at least that was in my experience, you know. So, tropical resort, it must be nice and beautiful. I hope you have a lump of cash on the side, though. You know the old joke, right? You ever hear the old joke about how to make a small fortune in Thailand? You ever hear that joke, Miguel? How do you so if you want to make a small fortune in Thailand, you come with a big one. That joke still cracks me up. You know? But I've been here 25 years with my wife, so we're all right. We're doing our thing. I don't, have any... I would like to say that I all the disillusionment that I had by moving to Thailand, I went through that in the first 10 years. I think it took me. I'm a slow learner, I don't learn too fast. So it took me like 10 years to learn things, learn certain lessons and stuff like that. So, but I was able to hold on to enough money that, yeah, man, I'm really on this walk, man. I'm serious about this. And today is the day that we're extending this walk, because before every day I was going out. I was doing a 7-kilometer walk. Take me about 50 minutes. Beautiful walk, especially having the ability to talk with you guys and share information and hear news and hear what's going on in people's lives and stuff like that, and communication and all that. It helps me with my walk. But I was doing 7 kilometers. Yesterday I ramped it up to 7.5 kilometers. And today I actually already know, because I know the route that I'm on will be at least 9 kilometers, if not more, because there are not any turning points on the path that I have chosen. So we're really going to get it in and get this exercise in. It's a beautiful thing, to be able to experience these things. I used to be a drinker and a smoker a long time ago. I don't drink, I don't smoke, and so this is my, for me, I never had a sip of alcohol that was as beautiful as this. That I can say for sure, 1,000,000%. And all you got to do is look in front of you, and then you can all you got to do is a little bit of thinking, and think about, holy cow, how is this all happening? How did all this happen that's in front of me? Like, what seismic events had to happen? Biological, astronomical. It's like boundless, and it's here for us, I mean, not for us to enjoy, but because we are here, we can enjoy it. You know what I mean? So, I understand. I know what I understand the love and relationship with Leo and Chang. And so I don't like Singha. I never liked Singha very much. Arun Swapi, hop home. I never really enjoyed Singha. But I used to drink a lot of Chang beer. The reason I drank Chang beer, I started off drinking Leo back in the day because Leo, I could drink a lot of them. And the problem with Leo is like 1 or 2% less alcohol than Chang beer. So after a while, I said, well, shit, why do I got to drink 6 Leos when I could drink 4 Chang and get the same result? You know? But, you know, there's never, I would never just stop at 6 or 4 or anything like that. You know, like I always say, when I first came to Thailand, I had a 6-pack. And after 5 years of being here, I had the whole case. And I'm trying to get that 6-pack back. Or at least, I don't need the 6-pack. It's just good health. That's what I'm after. I want to feel healthy. I want my brain, I want the blood flowing through my brain, nerve systems, and having a clear head and everything like that, because all I can say for me, in my experience, is that in my life, I have never made, and I swear on my mother's graves and my father's graves, is that I've never made a good decision once I had been drinking. Never. I never, ever, ever in my life did I make a good decision. You know, I might have forget about some of the things and stuff, that I didn't want to think about or whatever. Or maybe I wanted to get a grandiose type of feeling or something. So, there are effects that are pseudo-beneficial in a way. But, basically, I don't know. I'm not really preaching to anybody to tell them to stop drinking or anything like that. You go ahead, drink all you want, God bless. I hope everything works out for you. But for me, I feel in my life that I've drank enough. I'm ready for the next experience. Yes, sir, Scott 74, I hear you. I hear you loud and clear. And I know Miguel hears that too, but he might not be a problem drinker. I was a problem drinker, to be honest with you. I got some situations that I'd rather. Some I can't even talk about them. I can talk about them all. But it's like violent situations. And I don't want to remember these things. Because they're just so stupid over nothing. Or feeling like I got drunk and I had to go see a lady offering services or something like that because I was drunk. I would never have made that decision if I hadn't had a few beers. So or harder stuff or whatever it is. It's just I wouldn't have made that decision because it's not a decision. It's not in our nature. It really isn't. In any of us of our natures. Because if that was in your nature without alcohol, you would be considered by a lot of people as an evil person. So that's one of the reasons that the awakenings I had about alcohol, And then you add in the things like people drive just a little bit intoxicated when they're driving. And I got news for you. It is fine. you have a little alcohol in you, and you're driving your car, but you know when it's not fine? It's not fine when you get into an accident and you hurt yourself, and God forbid you hurt some other people, that you're not going to find very many people who are going to have any sympathy for you, which is something I think is worth thinking about. Anyway, that's what I think. How do you like those mountains up in the in the thing? You know, yeah, that's the funny thing about herb. When I was young, herb, we would go out and buy. I doubt they have them anymore, but we'd buy like a tray bag, what's called a tray bag. You ever hear of a tray bag? All right, brother. It's nice to see you. I hope you have a prosperous and healthy and happy day. God bless you, and may your dreams come true. Okay, so a tray bag it used to be folded up like in a small manila envelope, and basically what it was enough for 2 joints. That's why it was called a tray bag. Tray means 3. So you could go buy yourself a tray bag, and you share that with like 2 or 3 friends or something like that, and you'd be all right. Personally, I hope so. God bless you. I hope so. I hope to come to Chiang Mai, and maybe we even hang out, and chit chat a little bit and have something to eat. I'd like to be a customer in your restaurant. What's the name of your restaurant again, just so I know, so I can come on over? Because it's not that far from here. Maybe other people who want to come to Thailand want to come to your restaurant too. I don't know. But you said it's a tropical resort, so you might have to like check in to a bungalow or something like that. Anyway, whatever. So what was this saying? What were we saying? I forget. What the heck? Okay. Oh, herb. We were talking about herb. Oh, right. Yeah, exactly. Herb, man. So like, I never really got into herb, to be honest with you. It's just something like that had a chemical reaction with me that I didn't like. I didn't like it. I didn't like my face scratching all the time, and I feel like, I don't know. I just didn't like it. I would have, and the funny part is that, like, when I was back then, when I was real young, I would rather have gotten into cocaine or heroin than smoke herb, which is really kind of fucking, kind of screwed up, because I know herb is, it's a plant, man. It's a plant. You know who said that, right? But I guess I could say the same thing about the cocoa leaves. Hey man, it's a fucking plant. or even heroin. Hey man, it's just an opium plant. It's a plant, man. Bob Marley, late great Bob Marley. And that brings me to another topic that I love talking about this topic. If you like Bob Marley, and I don't know, I just can't imagine anybody not liking Bob Marley, right? You know that Rastafarian and Rastafari, they're Christians, right? So, being that Bob Marley is a Christian, was a Christian, and he spread so much joy and happiness throughout the world, I think that he should have been what is it? You get beatified or canonized, whichever one it comes first. I think canonized, and then you get beatified. I think that I seriously believe with every cell in my body that Bob Marley should be made a saint. If you don't make him a saint, who else are you going to make a saint? Like, I'll give you an example. Bob Marley was a Christian. Rastafarians are Christian people. And he spread love, and he brought more love and happiness. I bet more babies were born on this planet because of Bob Marley than a lot of people. So, but here's where I throw the ringer in, is that if you say Bob Marley today, right? Oh, so a certain percentage of the population is going to know who you're talking about. Probably a fairly decent amount of the population, Christians and non-Christians, will know who you're talking about. But like if I said, let's say if I went to Ottawa, Canada, and I said, have you seen Mother Teresa? I don't know. I don't know what the answer would be. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they have 13-year-old kids who have been beatified and canonized and made saints. How on earth is Bob Marley not made a saint? You know what I mean? And I think it's arguable. I'm not sure who brought more joy to the world. I mean, you might call me a heretic for saying it, and I obviously respect Mother Teresa and everything like that. But I honestly believe that Bob Marley brought more joy to this world than Mother Teresa ever did. So that's my case for Bob Marley to become a saint. I even called up the diocese. I actually found out how the process works, right? So, because I called up the Catholic Church in it's town called Morristown. I was in Morristown, New Jersey, and I'd been thinking about it so much. I said, you know what? I was right in front of a church and they had a phone number. I said, you know what? Let me call them and ask them the question. And so that, like, the person who answered actually didn't even know who Bob Marley was. It was a younger lady. But spoke to the older person after that, and he said that the only way to be, like I say, I don't know which comes first, canonization or beatification, but the only way for him to go through the process would be for his diocese in his hometown to put the petition in, and Morristown's a long way from Jamaica, and I wasn't going to make the trip, but somebody ought. I wonder if anybody ever put in a petition. I think the world would be a better place if they came out and said Bob Marley was a saint. He never murdered anybody that I know of. He spread love. Anyway, so we're walking towards those mountains, and that means, and I can see the sun, which means we're walking due east. Again, sometimes east eludes me, but I know because I can see it. You can see it too, right? Just like by that tree, the base of the tree. I mean, I don't know. I think that at least should have been a conversation about it. I think whoever the Pope was or is at any of the given times, I mean, isn't it worthy of bringing his name up? At least bring his name up. Hey, what's up? What's going on, brother Sean Simon? How you doing? How's everything? How's that wrestling going? You been in any wrestling matches lately, or are you just training? Right now, that's good to hear. I'm just letting you know it's Tuesday morning at 6:17 in the morning, and well, yeah, you just gotta try, man. If you don't try, I mean, like, what? Think about the logic of that. You don't try, you try. Well, which one's going to get you somewhere? If you don't try, people see that. This guy's not trying. Yeah, he's just taking up space. Nobody will expect anything of you except maybe to steal an apple pie off the windowsill. You gotta try. You must try. And don't give up. And keep it up. Because that'll make you part of society, the good part of society. And you'll have a much better life than not trying. So, don't give up trying, even if you're not successful the first time, second time, or the 100th time. Just keep trying. And try to, improve yourself. Obviously, I don't want to preach to you too much or anything like that, but you kind of struck a chord in my heart when you told me a little bit about yourself, and so in any small way, I'd like to say I got your back. I'm rooting for you. There we go. There's the sun. That's east. It's official. It's sunrise. And it is 6:19. So the sun is over the mountain. Going to make his journey all the way across. And we have fully added another 2 kilometers, at least, to our walk. So that's a good thing too. Right? We're going to get this done. Hey, Scott, you ever hear the saying, let's do this like Brutus because we're not new to this? You ever hear that saying? Let's do this like Brutus because we're not new to this. Man, I'm telling you, I could walk to the moon if I had to. I could walk all day. I could walk to Chiang Mai. I could walk over those mountains. And I honestly believe that if I kept walking in this direction, I could walk over these mountains and be in Chiang Mai, which is a city on the other side of these mountains, at least by tomorrow morning. And I wouldn't stop walking. But, I'm not doing it. I have other responsibilities. I have to take care of. But to be honest with you, I would like to get off this side of the highway because you see these trucks. I've said it many times, but I don't know who's heard it or who hasn't heard it. This highway here runs from the southernmost tip of Malaysia all the way up through Malaysia, through Thailand, from the south of Thailand to up to here to the north of Thailand, and then up to Laos. And then once it crosses Laos, you would be in China, in Guangzhou province. And so it's like a major artery. And these drivers, they drive a little bit crazy sometimes. A sad thing happened a couple days ago. One of these drivers was driving down, and there was a red light, and there was a family of 7, and the truck hit it, and just one adult survived, and one 6-month-old baby survived, and that was kind of big news over here, you know. And it's a tragic thing because it doesn't have to happen. But that's why I kind of like get a little bit leery about. You think so? You, Scott or Sean, I think you underestimate human willpower, and you have it inside of yourself, inside of you. You got to dig deep sometimes. Sometimes you got to dig deep to a place you didn't know that you could go, you know, and that comes with experience. You know, so I know you could do it. I know I could do it. You know, I know that millions of people could do it. I know they've been doing it for 1,000 years, 2,000 years, 3,000 years. They've been doing it. I'm not special. You know, in fact, I'm a little out of shape and I can do it. You know, so I know for a fact, you know, that it can be done. I'm not going to do it, but it can be done if I had to or wanted to, of which neither of those things are true today. You know, you ever get in a wrestling match? Like, you know, I used to do some wrestling and sparring and stuff like that. I think I mentioned that to you about, you know, never in like the collegiate level, but like in the streets and stuff like that. And I remember one time we were like street fighting, right? And you ever experience this? Because I experienced this. I still remember to this day. We had been swinging so long and so many times at each other, just swinging, trying to knock each other's lights out, and you know, just beat the tar out of each other, right? That after a certain point of expending all that energy, you could barely lift your arm. I could barely lift my arms up. I was like, and thank goodness he couldn't lift his arms up either, because I don't know how I would have defended myself. Fight was over, you know, due to exhaustion. The puppies are absolutely fantastic, and they gain about 50 grams each day, right? They get, I think they're one is close to 2 kilo right now, and the other one's about 1.7 kilo, and they're getting very close to the point where I want to start training them. So they're Thai dogs, right? So Thai dogs typically are kind of like a razorback dog, and historically they're used sort of like guard dogs and stuff like that. I don't think they could be any kind of a match for a Belgian Malinois or maybe a German Shepherd or anything like that. However, they are smart dogs. So training starts not today, because it still seems like they're not housebroken. So I think we'll just wait till they're a little bit housebroken and till their teeth come in a little bit more. And then it's training day, you know, training every single day for a couple hours or something like that. I'll be videotaping, filming that. And it's one of my desires in life. One of the things that I wanted to accomplish in life is to train dogs, right? In a proper way. And train dogs to the extent that, like, maybe I could train dogs to be as good as like police dogs or or something like that. That's I would love to be able to do that. You know, that would give to gain that skill I know I can do it, and now I have the opportunity to do it. So I'm going to do it, and we'll be filming it. We'll see how Mia and Maya behave. Oh, look at this. Here, check this out for a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know what that is? That's a caravan of 6 VIP. People travel around by bus here a lot. VIP buses. And they're not, I don't think they're traveling from Chiang Mai. They might be traveling from China. Coming down, Thailand has a lot of Chinese tourists. So, but they could be coming from Chiang Mai, for all I know. What I do know is there were 6 VIP buses en route to whatever the destination they were. And that's the only information I could relay as factual. So the puppies are coming nice. They're for lack of a better word, their poo-poo and their pee-pee are very good shape, good texture and everything like that, because you got to check those things and stuff like that. And so we know that's going good. We have them defleed, de-ticked already. Did that mostly by hand. I don't know if I told you this, but what happened. All right, brothers, fantastic. Thank you for stopping in, and it's always a great pleasure to hear about you. I hope to hear some positive news from you about, having a good wrestling match or whatever in your life that's positive. So just keep it positive. Don't lose your faith. Remember, in order to get to the light, you got to go pass through the darkness. Anyway, so the thing is, I don't know if I mentioned about these puppies that we have. What happened was the mother had a litter of 5 puppies, and they're Thai puppies, like the Thai breed, but which is like similar to like a Razorback. And so they get to like about, I don't know, I want to say about 40 to 50 pounds. Like a full, an adult one. So they're not the biggest dogs, but they're very loyal, and they're intelligent, and I want to find out how well I can train these two, Mia and Maya. They're sisters. So what happened was that their mother was poisoned, really sad. And the babies, the puppies, the litter was just like 2 weeks old. So they hadn't been weaned off of their mom yet. And somebody had poisoned the mother. I have pictures of that. I'm not going to post that or anything like that. I didn't take those pictures. They were sent to me. I don't even want to see it myself. So, but anyway, if you look at my channel and the videos and stuff like that, you can see when this little kid, whose name is Otto, brought 2 puppies, and he said the reason he's bringing these puppies over is because there were 5 of them, and he had to give away 2 because they were drinking all his milk, right? And this kid's like 5-6 years old, right? So he gets fed milk, and so he's like, yeah, they're drinking all my milk. I want to keep them, but they're drinking all my milk. That was cute. Anyway, I have that if you look on the channel, you can see. You can see all of that. Think we're going to try and make a break for it? No, oh no. Definitely must look both ways. Especially on this road. I was going to make a break for it, but this car. It's a Chevy. I don't see those very often here. Anyway, I want to make a break for it. too erroneously without looking. But yeah, so that's how we ended up getting those two puppies. And obviously, everybody knows when you give somebody a puppy, unless they're like a dog hater, which, you know, I don't think I ever met a dog hater. You know, you're just gonna fall in love with the puppies right away. You know, and that's what happened. And then once a day later, you give them names, and that's game over. Once you give them a name. So far they're good dogs. You know, they're very lovely. You know, we'll see how it goes. You know, a lot about good dogs depends on their I would say like trainer. I don't like to say the word owner or master or something like that because I think those words don't really sit very well with me when I'm talking about a dog, because I consider a dog a very intelligent creature, and when a dog is with me, it's part of the family. So I don't own him. I'm not his master or anything like that. If he wants to go, let him go. You know, if he wants to stay, stay. That's the way I feel about it. And if you treat these dogs, you know, kindly, and you teach them nicely, they will be nice dogs. But if you get people, and I've seen this, and I'm sure you've seen this too, you know, some guys or some people or women even, they put a dog on a leash, right? They put a dog on a leash, and there's a number of reasons for that. But one of the example that I'm talking about right now is I've seen guys, they have these dogs, and they're just yanking on that leash, you know, and cursing at their dog, and that dog, like, you know, and then smacking them sometimes and stuff like that. And I think that's a crime, you know, and if I see it, I say something. But if you do that to a dog, what are you teaching this dog? Because dogs learn. It's already scientifically proven that dogs have the cognitive ability of up to a 15-year-old human being. Okay? And when I was 15, I thought I was pretty smart. Border collies, on the other hand, border collies can like memorize up to like 4,000 words. You know, like you know, it's like incredible. You know, and here, these dogs, they've been key for the human survival through the Neolithic periods, the Paleolithic periods, and stuff like that. You know, without them, we probably wouldn't even be here. And then the old saying, and I'm going to say it because everybody knows it, but I will definitely say it again because it's 100% true. And they say, dog is man's best friend, but man is not his best friend. You know? I mean, in some parts of the world, they eat dogs. Can you imagine? I mean, I don't know what I would do. I mean, I mean, like, you know, I'm a Christian, and, you know, I try to absolve myself of these emotional things of, like, you know, revenge and stuff like that. But I would be very upset. I guess I could put it like this. I would be very upset and more concerned about my poor puppy or dog that was mistreated, killed, or run over or something like that than exacting revenge on somebody. But that's a very difficult bridge to cross. You know, it's a very difficult bridge to cross, and it takes a lot of work to get there. You know, it takes effort. Because I could tell you what doesn't take any effort, psychologically, mentally, is to react to something that you might perceive as a threat or perceive as you don't like. That you just do automatically, Like maybe somebody looks at you dirty and you pull out a gun and shoot them. Well, that was pretty easy, wasn't it? It happens. Believe me, that happens. you know? It's crazy, man. It's just crazy. Yeah. I don't know. I watch Neil deGrasse Tyson a lot. I used to. I haven't seen him in a while. But he said one thing I don't know, I heard a few years ago that like struck a chord with me. And I really like thought about what he said because I'd never heard it before. And he said that human beings are the only animals on this planet that will kill something or someone because what they believe they think, whether they think it or not. And I was like, wow. Tyson just dropped some serious knowledge there, man. Right? I mean, as far as I know, that's true. And that's pretty scary when you think about it. All right. And we're the only creatures on this planet that will kill another object because we think they think something. How do you know what they're thinking? Oh, shit. So, wow. How do you like that blue sky? This morning it looked like it was going to be completely overcast. All right, Scott74 says animals all get along in their own way, and humans, well, we don't know about that. That's for damn sure. I've watched some of those videos where you ever watch those video like short videos on YouTube where a dog saves a cat from drowning, or a dog saves another dog, a dog saves a human, like a baby from pit bulls, or an elephant pulls a gazelle drowning out of a water hole and stuff like that. You ever see those things? I watch them. I hope it's not AI. I don't think it is. Those kinds of videos have been coming out for years. So I'm going to believe that that's true. And you see sometimes like an elephant or even a lion or some sort of a predatory animal will actually seek out humans for help. Dogs do it all the time. They try to show you, where somebody, try to lead you back to somebody. Arun Sawapi. So you'll see that. Now, here's something that I noticed, and this just happened recently. And I'm kind of a little bit, well, I don't know if I'm sad is the right word about it, but you see this building here up on the left with a second level, and it has that green banner that's ripping and a red sign on it. That red sign says it's for sale. But just like 2 weeks ago, there was a cross on there, so like whoever, it used to be a Christian, I guess like a church, which is a rarity in these parts, but it appears that it is a church no more. And speaking of churches, I think Scott, if you know already, but I do history, I study history, and one of the historical things that I'm studying is right now I'm studying the how do I put this? The coincidental events that led to the rise of the Portuguese Empire. And I didn't even start there. What I started on was because I know that the Portuguese had been in Thailand since, for over 600 years. And about probably about a 45-minute ride from here, via car, is an old missionary town called Bantam. And in that town, they have buildings. I've been there once before, and they have buildings like there'll be a cross like carved into the buildings so that people, like if you were a traveler 600 years ago and you were a Christian, like you would know that you're running into Christians, right? It's a sign, right? Communication. But more interesting than that to me is they have a graveyard there, right? And I'm very curious to go take a look at the graveyard and see how old these gravestones are and what kind of names are on them, because it's in a northern region. Like, I don't know. I don't know if they came here 70 years ago or 600. So I'm kind of curious about that, which I will definitely most definitely do a video piece about that, because I think that's absolutely interesting, fascinating. And then if you can connect some of the names and the stones and stuff like that, that's even more interesting. And another thing that they say about this town of Bantam is, you see, the that they say, I've been told by Thai people that it was Portuguese, so I'm going to believe that, But what they say is, in the town of Bantam, if you look at the facial features of people there, they all look like Europeans, or a lot of them look like Europeans. Mind you, we're in Asia, and that's not so easy. So that's one of the reasons why I want to go check it out, just to see what it's all about, see what the differences are there, a little bit about the history of the place. Maybe I can even talk to a priest or some caretaker of the parish or whatever, just for information. Because I'm interested in these things. Well, if you keep watching, you'll find out too, because I'm going to film it. And we were supposed to go about 2 or 3 days ago, but it started really pouring and raining and stuff like that. And my wife's mother and her husband want to go, and they're in their mid-70s, so we're gonna have to go when they're ready to go. But or if they're just not ever ready to go, I'll just go by myself. But I don't want to go by myself. I want to go with my wife, and I want to go with her mother and her husband and stuff like that, because there's other stuff there too. They have a cave system up there, and supposedly nobody goes into these caves. Now, I'm not a splunker or whatever you want to call it, but I'm a little adventurous. But I will, if I'm allowed to, I will enter the cave probably at a maximum of about 15 feet or something like that with a flashlight, and just take a look. Because I don't know. I mean, there could be poisonous gases in there. You have no idea. I'm not going to take a chance. I'm not that interested. But I will take a look in, for about 15 feet or so, just to see what it looks like. That's right. I don't know if you remember in the news, I guess it's about 10 years ago now, about that soccer team that got trapped in in the caves during the rain season. They got trapped in the caves in the rain season, and they were there for like, I don't know how long they were in there for. They were in there for quite a few days, and there was this big international effort to bring them out alive, which they did. They brought them all out alive, except one Thai seal, unfortunately, did lose his life trying to save them. But yeah, so like all the whole soccer team was able to get out, and they, I mean, we're talking about a length of time where they were starting to look emaciated, like they hadn't eaten. And take a look at this. I think we take a look at this every morning. This is a Thai Watt, So yeah. So anyway, so these kids got trapped in the cave system, right? And the rain and everything like that, flooding and stuff like that. It was a really, really tense situation, and that's actually not too far from where I am right now. And at the time that it was happening, you could hear the helicopters, flying overhead, bringing supplies. It was like a multinational effort from like Australians, Americans, Germans, Chinese, trying to help and save these kids, which they did. But unfortunately, the one kid who was the captain of their soccer team, when he got out, he was in good health. He was in good health, and he got a scholarship to play in the United Kingdom. And when he turned 16 or 17 years old, he died of unknown causes. Here with a scholarship to play football, soccer, or whatever you want to call it. 16 and 17-year-old kids just don't die. I mean, there's got to be something. There was no explanation offered, as far as I know, which is pretty sad. Was he a victim of violence, poisoning by accident or on purpose? Who the hell knows? I mean, or was it something that he breathed in the cave that, who knows? It's just weird, So that was a pretty wild story, As far as I know, the rest of the kids are all right. But just thinking about to go through that ordeal and survive, get a scholarship to go, these scholarships to go play football in the United Kingdom are, I mean, I don't know, maybe these days with immigration and stuff like that, it's just not that easy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, but as speaking on immigration, that's the hot topic of the day. That is for sure. And I have a lot to say about that, but I'm afraid I'm afraid. I don't want to say things that could be conceived as meant to hurt people. Hurt their feelings or something like that. So the most I will say about that is that whatever politicians in England and the United States and even in Canada and other countries, whoever's in charge didn't learn very much from history. And not only did they not learn very much from history, they don't know much about the present and what people's belief systems are and what their objectives are. This is not just like a 10-year thing. This has been going on for 1,600 years. And believe me, I know it for a fact that is on the mind, and you know, they're I mean, because I've seen videos of leaders of this group in England and in the United States and other things publicly saying, well, we don't have to invade you anymore. All we're going to do is outbreed you. They've said this in English. I mean, you would think that like somebody might like take notice, but apparently not. And amongst with all the other problems too that come along with it, and they also, the funny part is the group that I'm talking about, they actively seek the support of the far left people. Now, I don't really have anything against far left people. People who have like liberal ideas and stuff like that. I draw the line at men playing in women's sports. That's just fucking ridiculous. Or even women playing in men's sports. For me, it was a big turning point in my life. Not turning point in my life, but I remember when women were inducted as soldiers and stuff like that. I mean, listen, I'm not a misogynist. I love women. I love women, but there's no way on earth if I had a daughter who was at a swim meet and one of these, and I hate to use the word freak, but they're fucking freaks, wants to go, swim in a contest against my daughter, I'm not letting it happen. I'm just not going to let it happen. I don't know. You could ban me, you could ban my daughter, whatever. But as long as you're allowing something that is so insane, I do not feel like I did anything wrong. And the same thing goes for the same-sex bathrooms and stuff like that. My mother, God bless her if she was still alive, if my mother was going to a woman's bathroom and I saw a 6'6" drag queen follow her into the women's bathroom, I'm sorry, but it's just not going to happen. There's going to be a very big fight. I hope I win. Somebody's gonna get bruised up because there's no transsexuals going to the toilet with my mom. Right, exactly. It's not fair to women either, right? I mean, that's actually the main thing is it's not fair to women. And we're men, real men, who stand up for the rights of real women. I mean, that's what that is about, That's just crazy. I mean, I don't even know how they came up with that, like, thank goodness I wasn't even living in the United States when that was going down. I mean, I'm surprised that the response was actually so little. I mean, like, what does it take for people to finally say they have finally had enough, that this is ridiculous? What does it take? And unfortunately, through the history books, what they say is it takes only missing 2 meals for a country to have a revolution. So let's cut off the food supply and have that revolution that needs to be. I don't want to say it needs to happen because, again, I don't want to put myself on the radar for something. It's just these thoughts just cross my mind. Right, exactly. And they get smarter than us too at an early age. Like they mentally mature faster than us. But oh boy, that was a little close. Yeah, this guy too. Anyway, I'm very pleased to say we have actually made it into the 89th minute. So this walk normally is between 50 and 55 minutes. And we've actually added 35 to 40 minutes to this walk. That means more calories burnt. That feels good too. It does feel good. And I'm very happy and thankful for that all of you people, beautiful people out there, took the time to take a look at this beautiful morning that's Tuesday here. And share the experience, you know. And never forget, we're all in it together, one way or another, you know. And I just want to say, I think that this is a good time to say to everybody that I do love you all and hope the best for everybody. And I'm going to wish you a good morning, noon, and good night.